Right. So, hi all, and today I take this opportunity to invite Dr. Vijay Barve, sir. So, you must have seen him in all Diversity India groups. So, we're happy to have him. So, he is right now the biodiversity informatics expert and digitization project manager at Naturalist Museum of Los Angeles. So, I invite you, sir, for the session on advanced features of iNet. So, over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Good evening, all. I basically wanted to share some of the advanced features. There are a lot of people who have been posting on iNaturalist for some time. Some people have few hundred records. Some people have few thousand records. I also see Dr. Vijayanand, who probably has 25,000 records. So there are people with lot of experience with iNaturalist, and I would like to share some of the features that I thought would be useful. So go ahead and share my screen. Okay. Yeah, you're able to see my screen well?
Yes, sir. Perfect.
Okay. So yeah, so what I'm planning to cover today basically is some of the iNaturalist features and data trends, how you look at them, how to create projects so that you can uh, filter certain data and look at it separately. A little bit on taxonomy, how an naturalist manages taxonomy or the names that we link every record to. Uh, how to post data about sensitive species, what you need to worry about, and then finally, what happens after you post the records, after they are curated, they become research grade. What happens with that data? So this is my kind of brief agenda today. So first, I'll start with record filters and data trends, how to explore them. So for filtering data, you basically click on the explore menu item. So once you click on that, you actually see all the records in iNaturalist, which is currently around 235 million records. And then you can start filtering from that. So the first filter I'm trying to apply here is India. I just want to look at records from India. So I'm typing in place box India, and then I'm selecting that. Once I select that, it's showing me about 3 million records from India. And then say I want to look at a specific group. I don't want to look at all 3 million records, but want to record, say, see only records for mantises. So then you can go in the species box and type in that. So this is, once I type that in, it will filter the record. So as of yesterday evening, there were 17,699 records for mantises. So I get the whole set of records, and then I can also see the number of species, how many people have helped identify, and how many people have posted. So there are more than 4,000 people who have posted mantis records on iNaturalist from India. So this is a very, very simple filter. Then you can go and click on the map if you want to see where these records are coming from. And once you click on the map, you see, like you definitely see as usual, Western Ghats is dark red. That means there are a lot of records from Western Ghats. And then also from a few places, looks like there are good amount of records around Delhi and Chennai and Bangalore and Hyderabad. So all metropolitan cities. But you might also see a very bright spot next to where Bangladesh is written. And I'm sure that's the place where Dr. Vijayanand has been recording a lot of data. So you immediately start seeing these trends of where the data is coming from. Now, now suppose I feel that this particular thing is very big. I want to just look at one particular state. Say I'm interested in looking at uh, how many records are there and what's happening from Maharashtra. So when I click on that, it basically filters data for Maharashtra, and then again you see similar trends. There is more data from Western Ghats. There are places like Nagpur and Chandrapur, Amravati. From these places, there are more number of records, but then also you start seeing these huge gaps. Looks like in central Maharashtra there are not many iNaturalists who are working, or maybe there are not many iNaturalists who are recording. In this case, I would just say that mantids. So that's how you kind of start zooming in and start looking for these trends. Then you can also take a look at what species have people recorded from that particular state, and it also shows you number of observations under every species. So you immediately see, okay, these first 5 species, they have more than 50 records. So they seem to be commonly encountered species. And then as you go scroll down, the number kind of starts reducing a little bit. So that's one kind of information that you can get from that. And you can also look at who are the identifiers, who is helping us identifying all these records. And first name is not a surprise. The person's username is itself Arjun Mantises. So he is a person who's actually working on mantises, looks like. And then there are a lot of other people who have helped just within these 2000 records, how many identifications all these users have provided. You see some familiar names for sure here. Then you can also look at who are the observers who have been observing mantises from Maharashtra. Right now, that's what we have filtered. So you see Yuvraj Gujar and Dinesh are the kind of top contributors, and there is a whole long list of 500 people who have posted records for mantises. I see Gaurav Soman in top 10. So, uh, so that's how you can find out who are the people who are posting. In case you have any questions, or if you want to kind of engage more with them, that's the place you can find out who are the people. Then if you want to refine your searches, go into a little more details, you can click on the filters button on the right top right, and then it opens a menu for filters where you can look at um, if you want to filter on certain categories, like if it's only research grade versus verifiable, means it has at least one photograph or sound attached. Um, if the records that are needing IDs are there, if there are any records for threatened species, obviously I don't think there are any threatened mantises listed so far. Then you can look at what species are introduced, what are popular, things like that. You can also click on different categories to look at what kind of organisms. So you can remove the mantises filter and go to categories. You can filter depending on the date observed. And then you can also open the more filters button and filter on certain users, certain projects. You can also filter on when the data was added rather than just identifiers. Oops, I think I clicked on something by mistake. I should just take care of that. I don't know what happened. I think I clicked on menu somewhere by mistake.
Yeah, sure.
So, uh, sorry, there is a identify button also in the bottom of the filters, and if you click on that, it takes you to the records of your filter, but which needs identification. So it will not show you any research grade records, but all the other records which needs some kind of curation, it will take you to that. And then here you can provide IDs for those records. You can just click on any of the records, then it will open a detailed box. You can see what people have suggested as identifications, given comments, zoom the record, zoom the picture, and you can basically suggest or annotate this particular record. So that's a very useful and handy tool to, if you are familiar with a certain group, you can definitely go and uh, provide identifications, which I would highly recommend. Then coming back to the filter screen, suppose I am interested in only records from beginning of this year, so I can go and use the date observed range and basically put a filter on date, say from 1st January up to today. And then these are the number of records. There are 81 observations posted for mantises from 1st of January. So in last 3 or 4 months from Maharashtra. So there are 17 species recorded. So these are the kind of drill down searches that you can keep on doing. And then if I'm interested in, okay, I want to look at what are the mantises that I can expect to see in a particular region and in a particular month. So right now I'm trying to filter on India and just month of April and see what are the mantises that I can see. So from April there are 1500 observations across India across the time scale, and there are 52 species that are observed during the month of April. India is a pretty wide region, but say if I'm going to a place, suppose I'm going to say Namdafa in Arunachal Pradesh, and I want to look at what butterflies to expect in the month of April, I can similarly put these filters and look at the species and kind of get myself familiarized with that. So that's the advantage of filtering for a particular month, so that you quickly know what to expect. Now getting a little bit detail into one particular species and what kind of information and data is available for that. So I just selected one of my favorite mantises, Asian ant mantis. So when I click on that, it tells me there are totally 3,000 observations, and shows me some exemplar images that iNaturalist curators have selected for us initially, but I can also click on view more and look at more images, which I'm pretty sure everyone has done it. But uh, kind of understanding this particular species page and what are the features available there. Let's go into a little more detail. So I just filtered it for India, and then I see that there are 887 records just for this one particular species of mantis, which is fairly common. And then we can look at the seasonality graph. So in the seasonality graph, you can see that what months people have recorded this particular species. So looks like this species is generally seen across the year, but there seems to be more records from September to November. So maybe that is the time these insects are more visible. And then you can click on history and see the kind of time series of like across the time periods how many records per year or per month have been posted for this particular mantis. So if you take your cursor on one of the points, it says there are 21 research grade records for November 2020, and actually there are 41 verifiable records, and only 21 have become research grade. So remaining 20, someone can always go and curate and help them become research grade if the photographs are sufficiently clear. So that is the history part. Then you can also click on live stage and look at different graphs. So the top gray one is all the records, and the bottom ones are for egg, adult, and nymphs. So when you again take your cursor on one of the peak points, or it starts showing you that there are 70 records which are not annotated. So there are these records, even though there are the records are there, we do not know whether they are named for adult or egg, and only 7 records are annotated as nymph, and 4 adults and 1 egg, which in this case it's Uthika, but basically for all insects they have these 4 categories. So you can explore that, and that also kind of highlights the need of annotating your records. You can also look at the division by sex, if but I'm not sure how dimorphic this species is. So there are not many uh, records which show differentiation between the sex. But if you are looking at sexually dimorphic species, you will probably see more data there. Then scrolling down a little bit, you can look at the whole map of the species, where all across the globe this particular species is recorded from. You can also click on the about screen, and then it typically links to the the Wikipedia page for that particular species, so that you can quickly read the description and other things on Wikipedia. On the right hand side, in more info, there are also different other biodiversity databases that are linked. So if you click on Global Biodiversity Information Facility, it will take to the page with this particular species, or you can go to bold and see if there are molecular data available for this species. So these are all the links available here. It also tells you whether this particular species is included in the computer vision model for iNaturalist at this point or not. So these are some of the things that you might like to check. When you click on taxonomy, it basically in detail tells you um, the whole classification, starting from kingdom all the way up to species or subspecies, wherever you are. So you can understand the whole hierarchy of classification. And so for this particular insect, if you don't know what family it belongs to, or what order or class that particular organism belongs to, you can check all those details here. You can also click on similar species and see what species you might get confused with, which are also seen in India. It's very interesting to see here the Indian black ant is listed, because if you see on top, there is the last picture. The nymph of this young nymphs almost look like ants. So that's the uh, that's the reason I think they are listed as Indian black ant, that can be confused with this particular species. On the taxonomy, you can also click on any of the higher taxonomy, and kind of start browsing for that particular group rather than just a particular species. So I just clicked on order Mantoda, and then I'm still having India filter. So I'm now again looking at all the mantises, and then same seasonality, history, life stage, all these things I can explore for that particular taxon. Yeah, just to show you that all the same things are available here. Also, you can see how many adults and nymphs and thing recorded in that particular month across India. There is a in filters there is a photo licensing feature. I find it very useful in case you want to use any of the pictures for other purpose. You can quickly go and choose the appropriate license, say CC0, and then look at the pictures and choose select one that you want to use. Obviously, anytime you use any of the picture, it's a good practice to acknowledge the photographer or the person who has shared it. So this is a useful feature in case you want to explore images for a certain purpose. So this is basically all about all the things that I wanted to talk about setting filters. Now I will uh, get into a little bit of creating of projects, because many people need to create projects for, say, City Nature Challenge, for any of other work that they are doing, and many times people are not familiar with it. So I'll just quickly show how to create a project and how to add filters on your project a little bit. So as we were looking at the map of India, it's in some sense not complete. Parts of um, Kashmir and Ladakh are missing in this. So if you want to set that right, you can also do it using filters. I'll show you how to do it. So for not filters, sorry, projects. So to go to projects, you go click on the community menu, and there is a projects sub menu under that. So you can click on that project sub menu, and you will come to this screen. So here you can actually explore what are the projects. Obviously, City Nature Challenge is the big project that is coming up soon. You can click on Start Project, and then it will ask you what kind of project you want to create. You want to create a collection project or umbrella project. So I want to create a collection project because I want to look at, again, maybe take same example, mantises of India, and create a project to see what kind of data is available. So I click on Get Started button under Collection Project. It gives me this particular screen where I need to fill in all the details. So I need to fill in the project name. I can add an icon and a banner and set colors and things like that. So uh, let me start filling it. So I'm calling my project Mantids India. I selected a logo for my project. I selected a banner for my project. Uh, wrote a little project summary. I wanted to modify the color a little bit to match my project banner background. So I fill these details. Then I go to scroll down a little bit, and this is where I can set the filters. So I wanted this project for mantises, and I wanted to include India, but as we were looking at it, India does not have the complete border that we recommend to use. So I went on and added Ladakh Union Territory and Jammu Union Territory to my project to make it complete. Then scrolling down a little bit, I can decide what quality of data I want. Do I want all the records that says Mantis, or I want only records that are research grade? I can choose that. I can choose whether I want all the media types, or I want only with sound and photo. So all these details I can fill in. I can also set a date range typically for City Nature Challenge, you want only those 4 days to be recorded. So you can set those details, and then just go down and click on the done button. Once I click that, it takes a minute and creates this beautiful project. So you can see the logo and the background that I've used, and it has pulled all the records from India for mantises. There are these many records, these many species or taxons listed. There are these many identifiers, and it shows me recent observations. So if I scroll down a little bit, it shows me all the leaderboards. I can see who are the most observers, who have observed most species, and what species are observed most. So that's a very interesting statistics it gives. It also gives how my project is doing in terms of identifications and curation. It says it tells me out of 17,000 records, how many are casual grade, how many are needing IDs, and how many are actually research grade. So, and then if you look at the map, this is the map where again you see similar trends and patterns, but now the map looks complete because we have added the required regions, the Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh Union Territory. So this is all about creating projects. We'll definitely have some time for questions later on. Let me first go through the presentation, then we can discuss if you have any questions. So a little bit on taxonomy. So taxonomy is basically the backbone of iNaturalist, in the sense all the names that are that we try and attach all our records to. So how that is basically managed or maintained, I'll talk a little bit about it. So taxonomy is, as we looked at it, is the whole hierarchy that is maintained by iNaturalist. And then one thing that we need to remember, that taxonomy is really tricky data set to manage. Always those who deal with taxonomy, they know all the fun of maintaining taxonomy. So this is the statement that iNaturalist has put on their website. Sorry. So iNaturalist calls it the strength and the weakness, that they are using a single taxonomy. So what iNaturalist does is it just uses a single taxonomy. You do not have option of saying, okay, I want to use bird taxonomy according to Clemens, or I want to use bird taxonomy according to International Union of Ornithologists. You don't have that option. iNaturalist decides, okay, this is one taxonomy that we are going to use. That is a weakness, because a lot of people are not able to attach their records to the names that they are familiar with. But that is a strength, because for iNaturalist, it becomes very easy to maintain. And then for any user also, it's very easy to pick up records for one species. You don't have to worry about those different names that might be existing there. So that's why they call it a strength and a weakness. And as I was saying, all the observations are kind of hanging to this particular taxonomic tree. So where this taxonomy comes from? So iNaturalist, initially, when iNaturalist initially started, they imported the whole taxonomy from a project called Catalog of Life. So Catalog of Life for Species 2000 is where the initiatives where scientists came together and decided we need a complete taxonomic list for the whole world for uh, all the biodiversity, plants, animals, microbes, everything they decided to put together. So these were the initiatives in late 90s, and by 2000 to 2005, they had a reasonably good data set put together. So I actually started with that as their backbone taxonomy. But over time, they realized that that backbone taxonomy is not going to be continuously curated in the way that uh, iNaturalist would need it. iNaturalist needed more frequent updates and more authoritative list for each group. So they decided to start working with different taxonomic authoritative groups that I have listed here on screen. So for example, for all the vertebrates, there are these uh, world level databases. A lot of you might be familiar with the Clemens checklist for birds, or the ASM mammal diversity database, or amphibian species of the world data set that is being maintained by all the herpetologist group, the reptile database, or the for fishes there is this catalog. So all these authoritative lists where and are being imported by iNaturalist at a regular basis, so that it serves as a backbone. Obviously, for plants, there is uh, POVO, which is one of the most comprehensive list currently. For all the other animals except vertebrates and arthropods, World Register for Marine Species actually has a very good infrastructure, because that's where most of the other phylums are well represented. So this is how they put together these pieces into their backbone taxonomy. So maximum number of uh, currently curated recent names are available for us to attach. If there is anything missing, we can always add to the groups where any of these authoritative list is not being followed. So we cannot really add a odonate or a spider new name, because that is very quickly being updated by those respective authorities like World Odonata List or World Spider Catalog. But we can definitely add moth or butterfly or any other insect names, because right now there is no authoritative list. Any of the place where the authoritative list is there, we are not supposed to add names to that. We, in the sense, iNaturalist curators. But for all other things, the names can be added. So this is just to explain why there are certain names missing and why you need to go through a curator to add them. The only reason is curators are people who, iNaturalist things, have a little bit of experience with taxonomy and scientific names, so that not a lot of wrong names or mistaken names are entered into iNaturalist. That's just a little filter they have added. So this is about the taxonomy and how it is maintained. Now let's go to the next section on what about sensitive species. If I know, or if I'm worried that a particular frog that I'm photographing is a sensitive species, or a threatened species, what do I do? So if it is a threatened species, any of the red listed species, you don't have to worry about it. By default, iNaturalist obscures the location and it is not seen by anyone and everyone, unless you trust that particular project manager or a particular person to see your locality. That locality is not seen. But for a lot of groups or for a lot of species, they are newly described. They are probably still not red listed or not gone through the IUCN process. So what do we do with that? We can definitely choose to obscure location for that particular record if you feel that you do not want that to be known to everyone. So how do you do that? is this is one of the records that I think is a rare species, and maybe collectors could be behind it, and I don't want to disclose a very detailed location. So what I can do is I can click on edit, and this it will give me this particular screen. I can scroll down, and there is a change your privacy button. I can click on that and choose obscured, and then I save this particular observation. So once I do that, you see here it is now obscured. So you just say that it's in India, and it shows. And actually says, I don't know where this record from. It's probably from this big box that it has drawn around it. So that is how you can obscure specific records. But I will highly recommend you to keep your geo privacy open for all the other records. Only any specific record that you think people really need not know, you can manually go and click on that particular record to obscure it. So this is how you handle the sensitive species data. And then these are the details. It is showing to me that these are the lat long, and these are the details, and it also tells me that the coordinates I can trust a particular person. So right now, the curators of Dragonfly India group can see my location precisely. Other people cannot. Okay, so now we did a lot of discussion about all these features that people can explore for iNaturalist, data filtering, creating projects, and all this stuff. Now, a very quick update on what happens next once I post these records. What happens next is obviously the data is curated. There are people who will identify your records. They will give more comments, and once the record becomes research grade, what happens is if you scroll down your record, any of your research grade record, which is research grade for a few weeks, you will see that there is a little section which says this observation is featured on these sites. So there could be 1, 2, 3 sites listed here. So my particular observation, it says it is featured on one site, which is GBIF, or the Global Biodiversity Information Facility. So I can click on that, and then it takes me to the page where that particular record is listed. So I have clicked on the same Dragonfly record. So it says this is the name, and it gives me the whole detail on how it looks on GBIF's page. So I can scroll down and look at all the details of how the record has come from, and what are the um, different things available. So it says that this particular specimen was alive and it was male. So all those details that I have annotated have been transferred to GB for the Global Biodiversity Information Facility. So GBIF is actually aggregating all the data from different sources like eBird, iNaturalist. Different museums are digitizing their collections and putting in, and a lot of research data is also coming in. So this is the page for the iNaturalist research grade observations. So right now there are 110 million iNaturalist research grade observations available. Just give me one moment. Sorry about it. Sorry, my phone started ringing. So yeah, iNaturalist research grade record. So you can see all the details here, and then you can also see from where all this data is coming from. You definitely see highlights in India. You see um, probably all the major cities here. If you really look close, you see Western Ghats, there are more record. Certain parts of Northeast, there is good diversity recorded. You also see gaps in Central India that not many people are documenting data from iNaturalist. So this is the Global Biodiversity Informatics Information Facility page for iNaturalist, where all these data is coming from. So what happens once your data goes to GBIF? So iNaturalist research grade data is flowing into GBIF, and what GBIF data in general is used for is listed in this website, in this slide. So there are two major things that GBIF data is used. One is for research and other is for policy intervention. So IUCN data is in some sense is so all the research things, like you can use all these occurrences in large numbers for ecology and evolution research. There are a lot of climate change research happening using this data. Human health, invasive species, definitely used for conservation to identify gaps or identify where the species is available so that those areas can be protected. For food security, and IUCN creates a red list, and then IUCN red list, and all these research outputs are also used by all these different organizations like CBD and IPBES and IPCC, WHO. All these organizations use. So basically, GBIF data, if you see in research, it is being used in so many research papers. Like every day, there are 5 or 6 new research papers being published using GBIF mediated data. So that's how it gets useful. So just one picture that you took of a butterfly or a ant or whatever in your backyard, you take a picture, you post it on iNaturalist, either you or someone else helps identify, becomes research grade record. That one data point can be used into so many different ways. You obviously have seen cases where such records are used to describe new species, sometimes to find out new invasive species and things like that. But there are literally numerous uses for this particular data. I'm just looking at specifically iNaturalist. More than 1,000 research papers have been published which use iNaturalist data in some way or the other in them. So that is the kind of larger, broader impact of what we are doing by simply recording one organism in our backyard or in our favorite park or wherever we are going. So that's the kind of things that can and are happening with our iNaturalist data. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to kind of share with you, and I'm definitely happy to discuss more, answer any questions.
Yes, thank you, sir, for that interesting session. I mean, we couldn't have a better speaker for iNaturalist other than you. So yeah, this is open for questions. So if anyone has any questions, do ask, unmute your mic and ask, or put in the chat box.
Ashwin, there are a couple of questions in the chat box if you want to see.
Yes, just a minute.
Okay. Okay, so there is a question. What is research grade record? So a research grade record is any record which has a verifiable. So all the metadata is there. You have the date, you have the location, and you have a photograph or a sound so that it can be verified. And then there has to be two people who agree to a particular species name. So that is the criteria for research grade. And at the same time, no one should say it otherwise. So suppose two people say that this is a sparrow, and someone says no, this is a bulbul, then that's not a research grade. Unless more than 2/3 of the people agree to at a species level, then it becomes a research grade. There are also ways of converting certain higher taxonomical group records to research grade, saying, okay, I looked at this species and looking at photographs, there is no way we can determine that it's a particular species. So I want to make this record research grade at genus level. That also can be done. But yeah, that's the in GIS, that's a research grade.
Right. Okay. Thank you for that. So the next question was, please do show how to make location obscure. I think that was shown already. Let's move to next. Okay. What are the plans for species that are left unknown or casual?
What are the plans for? Okay, so for unknown, we definitely go search for it and start classifying at a broader level. Does it look like an insect, or does it look like a beetle or whatever? And then once we classify that, there are always people who look for and go and identify for this particular group. Like we were looking at for mantids, Arjun is a person who has been meticulously going through the records and identifying. So there are people for their own research or for their own interest go visit those pages and keep curating that data. So for unknowns, basically, that is what we can do. For casual, if there is no picture or there is no date, unfortunately, we are not going to curate that, because that is not going to be verifiable at some point, sometimes, or that useful record that anyone can use in future. So that's with the unknown and the casuals.
Yes, right. Okay, so Vandan has asked, when creating a project, is it possible to define a specific geographic boundary, like in your example of India, but for a smaller, well-defined area such as 2 or 3 villages? Can we upload or apply geographic borders using shapefiles or KML files so that observations from within that boundary are automatically added to the project?
Yes, so we can definitely create places. That's what NHL is called. So we can create places in which we can upload a KML file, and once a place is created, you can use that place to add to your project. So yeah, definitely places is something that you can explore. And if you have more questions, I'm more than happy to help. We have a iNaturalist technical help group where there are a lot of people who know how to do these things. So you can certainly join that WhatsApp group and ask more questions about how to create a KML file, or how to upload it, or how to create this.
Right. Okay, so Alan asked that I am a frequent user of the Explore feature on iNat, and sometimes I find the option of places of interest community curated is quite helpful, but the options there are very less and totally out of context. So how can one search for places of interest or use something like a line drawn polygon or KML file for searching observations? He says, I'm sorry, but the circle and the rectangle is mostly useless. This is for day-to-day browsing, so I don't want to create a new project for that with a specific boundary.
That's right. I mean, one thing we can do is post a feature request in iNaturalist forum, so that they can actually build a polygon building facility or something. But if you are interested in a particular region, you're frequently trying to do it, you can always create a place for that, and then you can use that place to explore. Should I go to the next one?
Yeah, sure. Sorry. So the next question is by Suhas. So he says, how does one get to know if the observation gets used for some scientific purpose or some paper? Is there any notification that comes up on iNaturalist for that?
Okay, so unfortunately, that is not possible because typically most of the research papers use thousands of records. So record level usage is not tracked because um, data from GBIF uh, uh, every month there are billions and billions of records are downloaded. So it cannot be tracked to individual record level. And that I don't see that technically happening in near future. But you can explore particular record of interest and go and see in what context it is being used. But yeah, unfortunately, that is not possible right now. Yes.
Okay, right. So Shamal asks that when should one agree to identification? I cannot understand why I should agree when I don't know how to identify the species in the first place.
Yes, that's a very good and valid question. One should not agree to identification if you are not sure what you're doing. So initially, a lot of people do that mistake that someone provides the ID, you look at the picture and say, yeah, this is that, and you just click uh, on ID and then agree to ID, and then that becomes research grade. But unless and until you are not sure, you have to be patient. And if you do not agree, the record becomes remains into the needs ID category, and there are more and more people are always looking at that particular thing. There are other ways of seeking identification confirmations, like you can post it on uh, different places, like you can post the link to the record on, say, Facebook or different WhatsApp groups, or you can tag people in comments. You can say, okay, if I know that, okay, this particular person is a expert of that group, I can say, okay, um, Chitra Shankar, can you take a look at this particular record? Okay, write with a @ symbol. Chitra will get a notification saying, okay, this particular insect probably she knows how to identify. So things like that can be done. Like many times I tag, say, Paul for my ant records, or um, Milind Bakre for my butterfly records. So things like that you can definitely do.
Right.
Yeah, but do not agree if you do not know that particular organism. Right?
Indeed. Okay, so Vandan has asked again. So could you please elaborate on the licensing of observation on iNaturalist? So he says that if he's understanding it correctly, there are two types of licenses, one for the observation data and another for the associated photograph. So can you clarify on that?
Yes, I think Shamal has already replied to that, which is really good. Shamal understands much better than me on licenses. But yeah, basically for images, you can choose a license so that whether you want to let people use your images for different things, and if you want to let them use in what way. And then for data as such, uh, as Shamal has said, data should be free of copyright and license. So people should be able to use the data. And then again, if it is obscured, it will not be readily available. But definitely, we need to make it available. And there are, if you go to the data licensing options, they have very clearly added, if you choose a particular license, what will happen with your data. It says if you choose this, it will go to GB or not, and things like that. So you can definitely refer to that and use it accordingly. Yeah, so I'm going to the next one. For
Yeah.
sensitive species,
Yeah, I'll read out. Sorry. For sensitive species, you told that we can always obscure the location, but if somebody were to search our observations for that date or date range or location, they will be given a map of observations which does not have the location obscured. So from here, it's just a jigsaw puzzle. So what's a work around it? Like still keeping the observation scientifically useful.
Yeah, that's true. It is there, but yeah, that's a tricky question how to do it. Maybe obscure multiple records and they do not know your exact location. That's the hope. But it is tricky, yes. I don't have a direct answer to that, Alan.
Right. Okay. So next question is, in obscured observations on iNaturalist, a red dot still appears within the larger square box. What feature does that represent?
It's actually randomized, so that red box may not be the exact location, and even if you scroll it, it doesn't give you the exact location. So that's the obscuring part of it.
Okay, right. Next question is it possible to see exact date of old observation? On app, it shows as 5 years ago or similar.
The exact date of old observation. Yeah, observation date you can always see on the when you click on the observation, you can see on the right date you observed and date you posted. The idea is it shows 5 years ago or something like that. But when you click on the record, it shows exact date of recording as well as posting on iNaturalist.
Right. Okay. So Chitra ma'am has asked, what is the base database that feeds IUCN status to iNet?
Oh, it comes directly from IUCN Red List website. And IUCN uses GBIF and all the other research data to categorize the status, but iNaturalist uses directly from IUCN. I don't know at what frequency they update it though.
Is it automatically tagged?
Yes, it is automatically done. So every now and then iNaturalist will get an update from IUCN and they will attach to every species that they have.
Does this apply to endemic species also?
Endemic, they try to do that, but I don't know how reliable is for endemic species.
No, because we were trying to, filter the CNC data and we were struggling with this. That's why we were wondering whether it is real, whether we should take only the tagged ones. It was like that.
For threatened or for endemic?
Yeah, for threatened, endemic, all the classifications.
Threatened you can take. Endemic, we do not have data for all the species. They are trying to do it, but again, for the whole world, you know how mammoth task it is.
Yeah, maybe we should.
Endemic, I will not rely, but
IUCN,
it should be really good.
Yeah, I think we should create volunteer groups for this, and even volunteer groups for, curating the stages and different types, like for example, if I'm wanting to look for an insect preying on something. So I don't find that kind of filters in this unless somebody, can tag it. Even I don't do that kind of tagging, but yeah.
Right. I mean, there is always observation fields you can create, and then you can do that. So there are people who are using those for, say, listing biotic associations for butterfly caterpillars are feeding on what plants or things like that. So people do that. Observation fields is a great place to do that kind of stuff. And there are people who sit and curate only that portion of iNaturalist. So that definitely can be done.
Thank you.
Okay. I see a lot of discussion on the chats, so it's difficult to find the question. It's great. So the next question goes is, how do observation fields work? What do they add to an observation?
Okay, so observation fields is any additional attributes that you want to attach to your record. So if you go to observation fields, there are literally hundreds of them. I particularly like to use the association fields. Like if I have a butterfly feeding on a flower, I try to associate that with what flower it is feeding on. So we can get that list. Obviously, for any larva feeding on plants, we try to do it, or any predation that you captured, you can see what animal is predating on what animal. So try to create 2 records for those and provide those exact things. So these I did not have time to show, but there is also another database called GLOBI, Global Biotic Interaction Database, and all these interactions are captured in that, and iNaturalist data is used for that. So if you use some of those that are certainly useful. There are also habitat categories that people have created and successfully used for certain taxonomic groups, assigning habitat information. So yeah, observation fields is a very flexible infrastructure and can be used for so many different things.
Okay, right. So next question is by Alan. So he had asked previously with respect to that jigsaw puzzle and all. So he asked that this time, following up from the last question, as a workaround, I create a large circle of almost 1 kilometer radius while mass uploading observations from a trip or a session. So his question is, will the location of the observation be the center of the circle, or will it assume random points within the circle I made? In both cases, is it worth scientifically, or I am following a bad practice?
It is assumed as center, but it gives you the uncertainty of 1 kilometer. So depending on for what purpose the end user is using it, they will filter out your records. So if possible, try to give very specific locations. Try to use some kind of GPS logger with your trip, or so that is what is highly recommended. But nevertheless, depending on what application people are using, so your record is definitely useful to see if that particular organism is seen in that district or not. If not, someone is using your data at a 30 a meter scale and trying to use it for ecological niche modeling or something, they might filter out your data. So yeah, as I said, what I do is I use a similar thing, but then when I'm uploading the records using a web interface, I can click on location of each record and actually go on assigning where exactly I have seen it. So in that case, it gives you 4 to 8 meters accuracy. So I prefer to do that, because me spending that little bit of time, if my records become more useful, that's always good. But that doesn't mean that you stop or reduce posting your data. Every bit is always helpful and useful.
Okay, right. So next question is by Omkar. So what is the frequency at which GBIF pulls data from iNaturalist?
I think currently it's 2 weeks. So iNaturalist creates a revised archive file, and GBIF pulls it every 2 weeks is what I think. In between, there was a little problem. If you last month, I think they had little trouble, and it was not done for a month or so, but otherwise it's fairly regularly.
Yeah, right. So I guess last question on the chat. So he asks, Shamal asks, like, what is your opinion on India biodiversity portal? Many Indian taxonomists are spending time there.
India Biodiversity Portal is a good platform too. One good thing is India Biodiversity Portal is also sending data to GBIF. So GBIF is like the master repository for all the occurrence data, and it is supported by governments across the world. So That is where ultimately all the occurrence data should land. So if you are really keen and you want to use India Biodiversity Portal, by all means, you can use it. They have built some really good features too. Only downside is access to international experts. Not many experts are going to visit India Biodiversity Portal and help. International experts like for moths, you might know Roger Kendrick is one of the persons who have been um, uh, providing IDs for all the moths across India, or there are certain people who are providing beetle IDs. So access to those people is not available on India Biodiversity Portal, and iNaturalist is in that sense much more matured platform. So, but if you really prefer India Biodiversity Portal, is certainly a good option.
Right. So Alan has sent again a final question. So he asks, I have seen some umbrella projects collecting observations like road kills and color aberrations. They don't seem handpicked. Is it some AI or machine learning filter? What is it?
Alan, they're probably using observation field. An observation field, you can go on assigning and then use that to do. If you go on the project, it probably will show you under the map what are the filter categories they have used. Or you can send me the link and we can explore together.
Yeah, great. So yeah, that's all for today. So if anyone has any more questions, you can unmute your mic and ask, or else we can wind up in a few minutes. Do we have any more questions?
Sir, this is Omkar. So first of all, thank you for this informative session. The question that I wanted to ask was basically extension to what Chitra ma'am has asked. So I think current filters on UI are very limited, right? I mean, if you want to filter something based on the labels or something which is, very custom, it's very difficult currently because of the limited UI that we have. So does iNaturalist, expose some kind of a public APIs by which, we can pull those data or something from the records directly? Is that a provision available?
Yes, iNaturalist has a very matured API. You can use that to explore a lot of things. I actually wanted to cover that, but again, I mean, there are limited things that you can cover in 45 minutes, and then I was not very sure what will be the kind of level of audience, what they exactly want. So I just decided that there are certain things, obviously, in discussion with Ashwin, what will be the best thing to do. But yeah, there are definitely things that you can explore, and there are people in India who are doing it regularly. If you use R, there is a R package, RINAT, through which you can download the data. And Praveen has done some really cool visualization with some of the data. And I regularly do a lot of data analysis using R and RINAT package. So yeah, happy to discuss more about it.
Got it. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Vijay, maybe post CNC, maybe we could have a session from you on this RINet, and maybe for those who are interested, it would be good to learn.
Yeah, sure. I can give a workshop on how to use and do some basic things. I'll see if Praveen also is willing to join. He does some really cool stuff. So
yeah, that will be fantastic. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for that. Great. So yeah, anyone else? I guess a lot of questions has been done. Okay, so I guess we don't have any more questions. So thank you, sir, for joining with us. And yeah, I mean, this was a session that we all look forward to. I mean, pretty much everyone on iNet has a lot of questions, and I think a lot of them were covered here. So yeah, this session will be recorded and will be uploaded on on YouTube. And I hope if anyone has any more questions or doubts, they can ask you in diversity, put in diversity in the groups, or maybe ping you directly. So yeah, with that, thank you for joining. Thank you, sir, and everyone here.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Bye. Thank you.